Okay. QQQ, just random put 125 because that's basically at the money. Here's a support level. Okay, so the option actually opened up below the support level. So now you flip a coin to say, hey, is this a good deal underneath here? I would say yeah, because this would be your first target to buy. Okay, so we just splash one on there. Whatever. Splash something on there. Okay, so you have a start. You're in. That's, we'll say 1/3 of your SPEC account for basically going against the grain here. The theory was that the market is opening up against resistance levels. Okay, so what you're looking for is that everyone kind of gets stuck right on the open. Okay, now you saw the options again. All right, 125. Okay, this had X amount of days on here. Isn't listed, does it? 24? No, that's the date. Strike. Okay. Number of date next month, whatever. Okay, so now you're down here at $1.25. Well, that's a round number. How about 128? Okay. So you splash something on at 128. All right, so you're in. Okay. Basically, you're paying up 3 cents. All right. Keep all of this in perspective too. How much these things cost. I am a huge fan of paying nothing for options and getting the most amount that I can sell for them, right? Okay, so this is a SPEC thing, all right? Somebody's looking for some coin in the morning or whatever. Okay, so I'm looking one that at some point here, playing this game of Mumbly Peg, that I'll be right. But the deal is I look at the big picture and lie to myself and say that buying these puts is against my core portfolio that I've been adding to since grandfather gave me 1 share of IBM or whatever, right? There's a nice little present. Well, an index, it'd be like a Russell growth. Yeah, you're not licensed for those. And you don't get paid when you say Russell. All right, so, and then what I have going on up here is it's just, I think it's ticks. Okay, so it's a tick bar because the volume and everything is going to be, that I saw was thin. Okay, and all right, so you come in and you buy, you say, okay, they overshot it. You buy it, this would be your sell. Okay, so 159, 160. All right. All right, so then what do you have on your price? 159, 17 cents. Okay, minus commissions. Wow, 6 cents. You know, so now I'm making 11 cents. All right, and all I have to do is get it to here. Okay, 11 cents with one contract is what, 110 bucks minus commissions for this. So it's 110 bucks. That's your first thing. All right. Secondly, I want to buy down here. All right, I'm hedging my whole portfolio. Okay. Let's take a look here. All right, so where were these here? Oops, 125 puts are over here. There we go. Okay, so what do we have? Volume. Okay, so a few other people thought the same idea here. The first thing I see is the volume is piddly, and the second thing I see is I look at the open interest to see areas of the IE maximum pain. Where can the option markets fall to exact the most amount of pain to the speculators and the options market? So I look at open interest. Okay, here's a level. So I'm standing in the pit 2 pitching these 126s off, 125s. So it doesn't happen, right? If all of a sudden S&P falls, the Qs drop 2 points, then it begins to clear out some of these here. Let me open this up just a skosh. All right, so you immediately do the whole bell curve thing. This is an area, okay, so to skew over the call buyer, you get the Qs to come back to 123. All right, so the story on that one is that, well, maybe we'll get a little bit more on our puts. Okay, maybe we'll aim for 123. So I looked at that, just kind of quick bell curve, just bell curve right in this area. Lots of them here the following week. So we definitely want to take out the Qs next week. Well, now we want to try and shoot for 122. Okay, I believe, where are we in here? Are we in here where the buy's at? Where am I at? February. Is that it there? That's it there. All right, 125. Okay, so how many days? 30 days. Okay, so basically you have a hedge on for the next month. All right. And we're aiming for 123. So we scooped up some of the puts on here, right? I scooped up some this morning. Here was me eagerly buying whatever a couple of days ago. 125 popped up in my brain. Oh, that's a good spot to short. I get an opportunity. We're going to open up against resistance. But I look at it immediately as this is a hedge against my whole portfolio at top tick. And I'm good for a hedge for 100 times 125. All right. Maybe half of people's portfolios or have more. This takes time. This is a business. I use the psychology of this all, right? Why did he? It's been only going up for 9 years, Kev. It's actually been going up since you were born, Kev. The market. Why would you do this? Well, this is how it goes, right? You know, what, you're going to get long here? I mean, yeah, go for it. You know, the market only seems to be going up over time, right? Since the Great Depression, since Nixon's 74, 75. That's kind of how I lean on this whole party. All right, so you have your puts. So we just eyeball these real quick. We put in our trades and we can mosey to something else. I don't have to manage this thing. I have a deal. I got in. If it goes ka-ding, you sold the stuff. I make 11 cents. Hopefully it's in an hour or two. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing the calls real quick here. All right, just to get a rough idea that I'm now want to find the Q chart and put on a 123 as it approaches. To alert me. Not a lot of buyers. Oops, where's my open interest? At the far side. Here we go. Open interest 122 on here. So that would help out both sides for this week. 124, 125 calls. We need to bump these up and then pull it from them. It's Wednesday today, right? All the way down there, 123, 125. That would actually work. All I have to do is drop it 2 points. Retest 122. Okay, so we're looking for this week. We're looking for 122. All right, 122 is what we're aiming for. So go back to the chart. Not that one. This is a quick one here. This is the dollar index, and it's a little before the top of the hour. All right. 8 going on 9 o'clock, right? Here in Chicago. There you go. Dollar index here. Here's the pivot. It's a support type deal, right? We're at the lower support. Where are we at here? Okay, so we're a little above 100. All right, it's just a round number. That's all 100 is. It's just a round number. Here are little areas, linear regression. It's been pointing lower. This is a decent pattern though, but you know, what is my risk down here? Well, I'm going to be interested in buying, you know, down here too. I mean, do I have the pockets enough to hold the thing if it drops, you know, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, that kind of deal. You know, for position people, there you go. And this is for currencies too. You'd waltz on all over to probably short the euro. And then look to short the yen. That's how it'd probably play out if the dollar came down. I suppose you could throw the Canadian in there too. But that's that. I don't know, yeah. Well, it's open. Take a look at the dollar again. Okay, so it's here is that SAR, or excuse me, this one's the ATR. ATR trailing stop. Oh, beach ball. I kill you. Sell, buy, 2 different colors, right? Can you set this to, I think it might have a crossover too. You can draw arrows on here and stuff, whatever. All right, and this is regular SAR on the upside. It's going to move a little quicker here. This one keeps you in a little bit longer. You basically, it cracked here. All right. And you were in, and your risk was just immediately let the SAR reset. Money flowed in though. You know, when they move into these features, the money comes in. It landed on support. Amazing how this happens. So what do? Do you buy here? Well, yeah, kind of have to, though the greedy side wants to come back down about halfway or so. All right. It's not above this, and it hasn't broken that. So, you know, find something else to do, like what I was looking for. The chart. Oh, I see why. Try it that way. Okay, so we're back to this here. Coffee. All right, so the game plan was opening up against resistance. 125 was the QQQ number. Let's do it the QQQ way. Oh, the QQQ. All right, so ADX is turning up on here. What is this, a 2-day chart? So this is blue, ADX is turning up. This is your RSI. What I'm looking for here is when it pokes its little head, it's supposed to change colors. I need to get rid of this here. I believe I can't. That was the whole thing, right? What am I looking for? RSI, RSI, going to RSI, normal, but I need it to be black more. Oh. That a color? You found it, Kev. See, just give it a try, Kev. Okay. Oh, do I want arrows too? Value, style, arrows, arrows, arrows. That would be the other one. That'll be fine. Width. I want to be able to see it. Okay. 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 Apply. That'll work. And it disappeared. Perfect. Warning signals. It's red. Any green? Did we get that far yet? Oh, hold on. Ah, oh, it is there. Okay, I was going to say, even when I hit it, it doesn't highlight. Well, all right. Kudos to the programmers. Okay, so here we are with the Qs. All right, this is a 2-day happy places down here. We were looking for what, 122 as a possible maximum profit off of let's see, 13. That's 124. Now you'll see it in a second. 123 below. I'm just chucking something on there. Okay, so get rid of you, active trader. Okay, so bought in. It's moving up to the little line thing. You'd probably want to watch volume and this guy again, right? Bad Kevin. No, we don't have that. Yes, we do. All right. So what do I have going on here? The red lines: resistance, resistance, pivot, happy place. You know, I don't know how far back this goes. Hourly. All right. Fiddle, a faddle, a fuddle. So we're back to the tick here. It gives me an idea here. So at 265. 230, $2, you know, we're in whatever here. We're just in. We're in 152 and a half, whatever. We're in 160. Yeah, I got close. All right, so you got close. Then what I usually do is move it higher. You people disgust me. You're going to have to pay up for this. That's what I do. Because it would be another go at it, right? The next go at it would, you know, maybe hit it. What's a good number? I don't know. Next 19, whatever. Move it up. Move it on up. You know, here's the other one. How many do you have? Does it say on here? No. 800. I'm long 800. Okay. Like I said, I'm working with 9 zeros kind of thing here. So can I pull that off? Obviously not. We haven't hit the volume there yet, but you understand the flip side of this is those who purchase options in like increments of 10 or that kind of deal. If we have a decline in the market, I'm looking for it to last, you know, whatever, 9 to 18 months. Okay, so if you have 10 of these and it takes 9 months, how many, you know, depending upon which one you own, these are 30 days, but if you had some deferred, like 2019 or whatever, start peeling them off at certain areas. However you want to do it, sell a much lower put out of the money and the market just falls into it. You will itch to buy calls, which is just a good thing. Hopefully you sell either the option or something, either deep in the option if you're looking for a bounce, and buy some calls. Kind of like you sell an option for 25 bucks and then you buy a whole bunch of dollars. You know, you're looking for a ratio, right? I don't want to pay much for these calls and I want to get as much as possible on the put on the way down, but I think, you know, the market's going to bounce X amount. Okay. When that time comes, we'll start peeling off the deferreds. As soon as the leaps pop up, I just go as far out as possible and buy a bunch. Okay, so I just randomly picked a number. Now, I personally don't think we're going to swing too far past this because I don't think that this is going to be the immediate reversal. I think we're trying to get some short covering here covered. And remember, all of this is we're working in new highs. So all of a sudden, you could begin to go, you know, farther out here. As long as we can keep these people, the P pattern, I said, basically sideways. Okay, so we're above R2 on ES. Okay, so you're looking for to go out on the calendar. Okay, so I have cues for 30 days. What do I want something for 60 days or 90 days? That kind of thing. We'll keep it at 174. I don't want to sell 400 though. I have 800 and I have 30 days. So it goes, I have to sell at least 30 a day, right? Approximately to unwind the whole thing. Now I'm going to probably, so I have 800 things to get rid of in 30 days to do it. It means you have to somehow displace 300 or lots of trades. Okay, so that was a decent one. I just wanted to change the amount. And we need to set this up as auto trader here. I just want to click through this stuff. Auto send. All right. So I just randomly picked a number. Then you come on up to 189 is a pretty good number. Well, Kev, you're supposed to let these things run. Yeah, well, how about this? It's, you know, you get something for $1.50 and you pick up 40 cents. That's what, $400 here? No, times 30. Well, all right, I won't do that. That's the wrong thing to do. All right, two little under 193, 197, 190, 194. You blarky. 189 I hit, 180. 187 too. It's a happy place, right? So I'm just kind of, now follow me on this one, right? If these Q puts take off and we're back to this, everything on the open today is like underwater, right? Okay, so now the other one too is what happens if I get stuck with this and it goes down to the green. Well, I do have 30 days. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. 30 days, okay. I'm gonna buy 400 more. How far down? Is that it? So that's 75 cents. Whoa, wow, huh. I'd be interested in buying some of these at 75 cents. Now that would be that the market is pretty much vertical here, okay? But I'll do it anyway, right? Just sit, whatever happens, it whips. 75 is a round number. No one would believe that either. Good till cancel orders. Whatever. All right, so that would be at 125. I already have 123 if it scoots through. By then I'd be like, falling knife, alert, alert. No, it's a hedge. It's just a hedge against your portfolio. You've been holding on since you were born. All right, so that's just the pattern, right? We open up, we get a little swing into it. So it's not really, they're like, not really. You know, they're not, what they need to do is be prodded again with some new highs. That's what we need to be seeing here. All right, so that's taking care of the Qs. Now I need to bust this down. Those are my options against it. Okay, resistance level, but remember we're taking off to new highs here, so 125. Oh, I see. RSI is kind of high. We need to put in some markers here. All right, sorry about the ugliness. I think what I'm going to do is 20, 30 cents lower. Okay, that'll work. Does this help out at all? Yeah, these are ticks. Yeah, that's bloody awful. Well, it definitely tells me red for warning. This is just RSI, or yeah, the red's the RSI. All right, alert under there. Okay, so the first thing that comes to my little cranium here is the ADX. Now remember that this is just a tick thing. So these are going to be skewed something fierce. But, you know, what, is this the top? I don't know, you know. But the deal is that you had a plan and you implemented it, okay? No matter what happens. All right, so the first thing that comes from my mind is the ADX. We're going sideways. Sideways means a trend's going to develop. I want to see these things go higher. And it should, right? We're in a new high. Just keep pressing, keep pressing. We're the calls, right? We're looking for the frothy calls thing too. All right, the Qs. All right, there. And then this gets a little sloppy. How about some orbs? Orbs. There we go. So I have an alarm there, a couple here. Start selling up in here. What's that? 125.06. That'll work. All right. And then I probably wouldn't go back into the puts until, say, 127's at the money. You know, percentage-wise, way up here. It's ridiculous to just keep chucking stuff at this, right? You know, I don't know what you have. It's the whole, you divide up your, you know, gambling. You always keep a little for tomorrow, right? This, if it's not working for you, the trading-wise and stuff, then it's not working for you. You know, Michael Jackson, basketball good, baseball bad, right? It's the whole thing. All I'm doing is I'm going against a very long trend in a market that's not really holding together, that I think is limited on time. I have opportunity, but Kev, at the end of something, it just goes bonkers. And it's like, yeah, I know, I'm vigilant about that one. Yeah. But my deal is I have a plan, right? So this is just my plan. We're rolling into new highs. We opened at the high. I guess I could buy some weekly puts on here. Back to the Qs. Where are we here? Okay, that would be a fun one. Must get out of orbs. All right, so this week's puts. Okay, so let's go back over to this one. And I think I have to go. What did I do? Where did it go? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. All right. So this week's puts. Okay. So then volume-wise, we know that, yeah, this week's puts. All right. So then what I would do, we have this volume. I get an idea here. The 125's at 50 cents. I want to see what the low is just real quick. Low. Right? I'm trying to pay as little as possible. 49 cents, that's 3 cents. How about I try to buy some at 47? If it swings to new high, these things will drop, right? And now, this works correctly. I can move it back to that chart. Because of the date and everything kind of threw me off. You know, front month for typing up, I'd have to change 3 things on here. And I'm like, no bueno. All right, so here are the puts on these at the money. 50, whatever, splash some on. I'm on. All right, here, a little less interest. They're not going to, well, of course they're not going after the puts, Kev. They're going after the calls, silly. 8 cents. All right. So now that's an interesting deal, just in case of some sort of Friday late afternoon deal, right? I owe almost $30. All right. I want to scoop up some of these. I have $100 bill. Okay, I get, splitting this one up. 1 at 13, maybe 2 at 11, dime, whatever. It's a round number working off of spreading going on here, Why don't you just click them all, Kev? Click, 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 whatever, right? I have $100 bill. This one cost me $10, $10, $30, $60, $100. There we go. Buy 1, 2, 3, 4 at the money call, blah, 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 blah. For this week, or at the money put for this week, okay? If it gets down to here, hey, what a deal. If it goes back, wow, we're talking what? Buy at 8 cents and sell it at 50 cents or whatever, 46. These will change, but you understand what's at. 500%, 600%, whatever. That's how I do it. This is the story. Click, 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 right? I want to pay as little as possible. Throw them out there. You're walking in, right? Okay, here's the story. A man named Kevy. You're walking into the slot machine, you put in the $100 bill. This is what you want to have happen, right? That's all you're doing. It's just one big old gamble. They get $100 and chucking at this thing and trying to get 3, 4, 500%, whatever. That's the plan. You implement the plan and you go from there. I wouldn't get interested again in Q puts, like I said, until 27. But where does this money come from, Kev? Well, hopefully there's something else going on. Short the grains, What did you take out of gold? 1220 is beginning to be an issue. The dollar looks like it's going to bottom. Possibly. This is, kind of thing, but you have to watch it. So now we're rolling over. We're coming into new highs. Ding, ding, ding. That is fabulous. All right. So now we have the market moving higher again. You know what I have to do now? I have to go through Thursday's earnings. Oh, no. Hold on a second. Let me pause this. All right. Summary. Where's my summary? Come on, you. All right. What I did is I just manually punched in all these symbols. Thanks, Kev. Yes, manually. Ah! All right. Why is it not giving me a summary? 10 per page will give me charts, but I need a summary first because I need to sort these. Come on. Grunt, computer, grunt. All right, here we go. So we go back. Market's at an all-time highs, whatever. 3 months. These are earning stocks for Thursday. All right, well, some of these are 60% off. Why? Oh, Travel Zoo. Oh. All right. Okay, I talked about that kind of stuff. Transports. All right, so, well, yeah, my summary, 3 months, blah, blah, blah. I'll take the high. I'm looking for frothy unbalanced volume to go against these things to buy options. All right, what's the nice thing about Thursday? Holy bucket, some of these options might expire Friday. So maybe just for shits and giggles, I'll just buy both sides. Woo! That's all, that, there you go. So they're renumbered with the bestest kind of thing for the last quarter. And these are all earnings. These are all today. So those are already moved. Where are the numbers? They're at the tail end. This one here. Banks. Yeah, whack the banks. Take that. All right, positive ending things here. Oh, look at you guys. All right, we'll see about that. All right, 29, 30. We're going to run through them. All right, so this should be the bestest return from the quarter, wasn't it? Like 212%. All right, so this is our 212% deal here. It's the whole, these are weekly bars, right? Weekly bars, volume bars, weekly volume bars. I'm looking for the red unbalanced volume to be up here, frothy. Some of these other ones are money flow. This might be price goes up. Is money in there? Is it too much money? Is it too little money? Here, we don't have I guess we do have a high on the unbalanced volume, high on the unbalanced volume, high on that. And there was an oversold. Lo and behold, look at that, 1 week down and 1 week back up, the old V bottom. Goes sideways, and after sideways, what do we know? It's either going to trade lower or go higher, and it goes higher. So here it is at R2 on a weekly basis. There's still room to run, though. So this is one of those where, unfortunately, this would be the target to the downside. Just cut it in half, but it's not frothy. So for me, it's just a pretty chart, just saying, oh, reinforce the thing of this is why you do it. But trying to find a winner. Fat bodies, the bodies are in this thing, so this is your target, but it's definitely has a pretty good move off the bottom here. The bodies are in there, though, and the JNUG type of stock had the same type of deal with fat bodies, and this peaking out in a hurry, like we're talking 4 days. Semiconductors, I going after the chips, buy and put on the chips is where I'm at. SMH kind of thing against some of these that aren't there. SMH is at on high. What's this say? It's technology, semiconductors. Why isn't it up here? It's got to catch up. So maybe this is our little frothy game here. They're trying to whip everybody up into a frenzy. How many semiconductor stocks are there? Just, it's a new company. It's semiconductors coming out at $6.25 a share. Wait, and then all of a sudden there's an endless stream of these things coming to market, right? Well, if we get some money, we'll dig some holes in the ground in North Dakota and get some oil, and we're an oil company. Okay. All right, this looks like a 5 off Fiat Chrysler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Fiat Chrysler here, if you're long, sell some options against it. Actually, there's nobody in it, so there's still more room to run. I wish we had the 300 again. That looked like a decent car. German, a tank-made German, big, American, 300 convertible. I think it was. But the problem was they put in a tiny engine. No, just stop. If we make the electric cars cheapest for the masses we can have, big, fat, just wasteful, internal combustion, blah, blah, internal combustion engine. That's fine. We have semis and buses. Those guys are nasty. All right, so we're coming up to here. So what I would do is I'd write some calls against it, maybe go out a little ways just in case it comes back down to here, because it's breaking out. It's had a good run. Watch the unbalanced volume on like the 2 hour or daily kind of thing. There's still more room to run here. We still have to, overall in general, we'll see it when people are just jumping up and down on roofs, and you don't see any more cars from the late 90s on the road anymore. All right, this one here still has more room to run, kind of lean that way. This is energy exploration. Ooh, we have EIA in 6 minutes. This one, CMCO, commercial vehicles. So this is another one that's popping up here. So look for, write some calls against it, or on, I want to go against it here. Unbalanced volume is beginning to get toppy again. Toppy, red line, toppy again. So I'm looking to be right, far out calls, April, May, whatever. You're trying to lighten the load a little bit here. Or, if it's going to go up here, collect some premium. If it doesn't, collect some premium, with the possibility of double top here at R1. Pass. What is this technology? Electrical components. 61 to 18 in a year and a half. Oh yeah, bull market's at all-time high. Well, does that mean it's going to go high? Whatever. Draw a trend line. It cracked it. Draw a trend line underneath it. until it cracks it. If it continues on, this would be your target area around 38. Here's the pivot. You know. Oh, thin bar. I'd go against this one here. He's HEES. You know, watch the unbalanced volume. Here's one. Boom. It's getting a little bit frothy up in here. $14 stock. What is it? Industrial machines. Here's one that's a little COPN. Oh, I remember this one. Semiconductors. Oh, 3.4. Blarney. But the bodies are in here, so this is good for dump, cop, and save as. There we go. Here's one. OCFC. That'd be a shortage. I'd short the thing. OCFC. There is a lot of, they did buy into this thing here. So it might be one where it gaps up like that RAI. Those few losers I have. All right. Yeah! Well, that's the whole thing too. You're looking for a top. It gaps all the way up here, just stalls up in here. You go after it on the put side. Who's like, woo! That, of course, could be a measuring gap if it does that, or it could be an exhaustion gap. 3 kinds of gaps. Guys, Zowie bet, man. 29 to go. All right, STM, semiconductors, blah, blah, blah. It's frothy's in there. Yeah. I'd probably lean here, though, the short side of semis here from, I don't know, July, August, September. Maybe go that way on it. You know, sell the calls and buy the puts. You know, see what you can get for calls up in here and then puts down on the bottom here. I'm thinking more of SMH than STM, but that one I'd look to be on the shorting side of or tighten up the stops on this thing if it does. These are logged charts, so this is what you want. If it deviates from it, you know, the angle of ascent increases. That's a little ding, 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 ding. You know, that's the other one too, is buyouts. Grrr, why I hate equities too. Fat bar. Wow, we really want to take out this number here. PCBK. Banks. Yeah, we want to just take this bar out. Wow, you know, take them down right here. Poof. That would be a fun one. What the hell happened? Oh, bugger. Yes. That's right, folks. I'm also the personal assistant. All right. Yeah, dump this one too. CUNB, go after. Ball peen hammer, whack, 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 whack. You're trying to get what, 8, 10, 12% kind of deal. You know, we'll see how all this stuff kind of pans out over the next few days here. We also have we had the 1 year anniversary of the January low and equities, and now are we working on the February high, that kind of thing. I watch for that too, 1 year anniversary kind of things. FW, same thing, whack it. What is it? Bank. All right, so moving along. Skip this one. UIS, I'm still Unisys. It is the bodies aren't there. Okay, Unisys, it has a name. It's at pivot. I suppose. Here's the accumulation phase. Here's the markup phase. Here's our correction. The angle of ascent coming through here should increase. You know, 2 ways of going at it. It's either stalling at 50 or it's going to, you know, kind of hold 50, but it's at pivot. So Unisys comes through the other way. It would pick up steam, and then I'd look for 19 from 13. So that's what, 30% return. Unisys. Did not know that they still, that was the first computer, the first Windows type computer I played on, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I played on Macs 10 years earlier, or Apples. All right, Apple II, UIS, yeah. Possible deeper move back here. You had the hard sell-off, a decent volume bar on the breakout. You had some money moving in here and coming back. What I'd like to see is a fat red bar like this. Hold on, pivot. Maybe see if we whip something out today. AIT, a bang after that one up here kind of thing. The angle of ascent, remember, these are logged charts. So this is moving at a clip. Here's your little pink dots, dot, 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 dot. Once it cracks, you know, that I'm anticipatory. You know, how much are the options? How far out can I, can I go on this one here? I think I saved it. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. All right. Moving on. All right, top of the cloud here, kind of getting frothy on here on ALJ. But now here the cloud I'd use as resistance. You know, sometimes it'll hold it on the outside. This time it's on the inside. Pivots down here at 10.5. Previous, 15 to 11, 15 to 9, what they had to do to lighten this load up a little bit. Higher prices, but fewer bodies. So they really didn't want it up here. Okay, and it fell over on itself because there was no interest. New high and nobody wanted it. So the selling, if they're, selling going to come in, I'd say R2, but I'm going to have to say that at the top of this cloud. People have the hope up here. You just know they do. Looks like a gap down there. There's hope they do, and it only get this far, so all of a sudden it loses pivot here. Little pink dots too. It probably slide down that way. And this was just an ABC, and on the way down the hill. It's $2. Yeah, this would be the goal here. Who else looks like this? Oh, gold. Blasphemy, says Deutsche Bank. Well, there's our fat bar. I wrote about guess who's not in Deutsche Bank, and we got up to, I think, 17. I started mumbling about options. I think it was this one at the top of the cloud. Write some options. Here we are again. Next target here to be about 28, which would be here, is getting the volume. It took forever, but we finally shook them out. Same type of deal. Unbalanced volume oversold. That would be here. This would be naked puts, but it's going to go to zero, Kev. It's going to go to zero. Naked puts. Oh, you want to buy some puts? You've never played the option game before. That's what I would have done. Naked puts. I think I personally traded this one. Yeah. May have had options. Disclosure doc. It was sold last year. It was in the summer. What, June, July? Where are we at? September? Somewhere in there. We got out up in here, I think. I checked my own advice. What a deal. All right. Well, it goes from 11 to 17, and blah, blah, blah. You're like, well, lock that one in, because I'm going, all right, so now we're looking for the top deal. That's how I did it. I went out and stocked it, got in, la, 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 here's just, and shot the deer, and I walked away. That's the nice thing about day trading, right? You have to go find a new winner every day. Compared to, well, why didn't you just hold on to the pink dots? Whatever. Oh, it's probably options. That's what it was. I'm sure it was. I got snagged in something or 8 or 12 cents an option, and that's how I got in on the thing. Yeah, and wrote it to whenever December, or no, up into the election. I'm sure that's what it was. Whatever it was, this area, I think. Whatever. Moving on. So last year, go after this one. FBNC, another bank corp. Just whack the banks. Should just look to see if it's a bank first. Here we go. AMCC. Oh, semiconductors. All right, this is one. The bodies are out of it. AMCC. The bodies are out of it, but that means they can come back in and swing it higher. This would be your overhead resistance around 10.5 here. Just going off the top here. Options, yes. So you can do a buy right here. Buy. Well, you can go a couple ways on this. You could buy it, sell the options kind of out of the money up in here, and then buy puts underneath you here, just in case it decides to roll over, because we do have a sideways pattern here. And it broke out, and it came back and retested it. And people said, yeah. And so the swing is on the upside here. I better hurry and get this Applied Microcircuits AMCC. Yeah, you want to unbalanced volume, can move up here. It's part of the whole circuits thing. Buy one, short the other. Isn't it crazy? All right. Same sector. Bank. I know this one. Oh, no bloody stuff in there. You do have stochastics and stuff on a weekly and a money flow. Right at, it's 175. Oop, there it is. There's the dots. Ooh, I need to take a look at SIPV. I know I already have some of that splashed on. MYCC, yeah, I'll pass. Here's one that's short, MSCC. Semiconductors. Bodies are in this thing. MSCC. I smell a spreadsheet in my future on the second computer. All right, MSCC, blah, blah, blah. This is a dumper too. Oh, it's $7. It's hanging there, stupid bank. Here's one, United Third Bio, whatever. It's swinging into something here. So I'd go up and find a, ball peen hammer type of deal here. A lot of these, I just think that we're, the bios and the medical and all of this stuff, right? It's had a good run for a long time. It's kind of like this. It's 97. You think it's going to double in 3 years? I don't think so. I'll pass. And that's how I look at it. I'd look on the short side that comes through here. I think it'll come down. I think here's one. Okay, this is all right. I'll say that this UTH will see 70 before it says it sees 200. That's how I look at it. Will this max out on the way up here? Apple has the same secondary distribution too, and I lean on the short side here. I did notice that Google's the party favorite tomorrow. Party favorite or party favor? We'll say party favor. I think that's the term. OSX, whatever, blah, 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 just whack it. Here's one to whack. ESXB, bankers, whatever. Oh, it means they're well capitalized, Kev. Okay, yeah, no kidding. MTRN, yeah, there's bodies are in it. It's a decent double top here. So what you're looking for is, it pokes through and then short it and comes down to pivot. You're trying to sell it at 42, 43 and then buy it back at 34. That's how I play it. MTRN. Oh, beauty, VC, another auto parts. Okay, VC. There, we got a runner, and I bet you VC. I don't have that. 1 second, please. All right, trade VC. Options, $4 for 95 put. What is this here? 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Hut. Oh no. I do this. Oh no. Oh, well. I'm not sure if oh, blarney. All right, I'm going to have to stop this. Plus, I want to get this stuff out anyway for the video, just in case I effed it up. All right, so I'm going to leave everybody go here. But you heard enough. VC is your short. I'll send the link out to this one here if it's dead dogs. But I have them lined up. So it's the end of the page. Yeah, we're up to 3. Only 27 more pages to go. But I'll scan and find a few of them and make a list and whatever. Ooh, EIA. Where'd oil go? All right, go look at oil. Let's go take a look at oil. All right, so Effenheimer, oil. All right, so what do we have here? We have F5, open at the high, and that was low. I believe that one was a short. Come on, monkey shines. All right, so we're looking on the short side of oil on here. Here's 52.32 for happy place. We'll do 27. Or how about 31? 33, 34, whatever. And then I need to look at, there's our trend line, approximately, And what I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear this. All right, so that's that with that. All right, take a look at these, I suppose, since I may have F'd this thing up. All right, so we're back to our options. It's just running on. This is the newer ones, I think you buy for pennies or something. I need to set an alarm for when they go above here. All right. Sippy kaye, Kevy. What do we have? Okay. We have a slow computer. What do you got running? Shut some stuff off, buddy. Probably this stupid thing. Oh yeah, and thank you to the new subscribers. While we're waiting for 8 gigs to run through here. There we go. Everybody finally happy and set right now? All right, I'll run through the futures. We'll call this mid-morning since it's 8:41. All right. Sure. Right page. Nope. I'm on the right page. That was awfully goofy of everything. Wow, this video is going to be interesting. Oh, for my blind friends out there, color commentary. Here we go. Share the screen, right? Besides the talent, I'm also the engineer. All right, what do we have? Unbalanced volume is this yellow guy here. Oh, I forgot. Oh, these will change. Oh, it didn't disappear. It didn't save it. And ADX, this is your RSI. All right, whatever. It bounced off here, short side. That's how I'd look on this Aussie dollar futures here. Late. See how the dollar, we're going to have to see how today works out. British pound's on the run. Let it run. This is what your target is. You're shooting for the computer here because this is the the ATR stop. So there are people who are short that don't want to see this line. We as bulls want to see this line. So we're going to find out this tug of war who has it. EDX, it's right to turn up and move. The trend is your friend. Canadian dollar, Blarney, O'Blarney. Oh, you already have stuff here, just in case there's a warning. Every day that goes by. I love the dings. Means I did something right. Pavlov the dog. All right. Euro, dollar, here was support, stuck sideways. Yeah, if you can get what's that, 106.80, maybe for a buyback, 107.35. To me, it's already moved 300 pips. I'm, trying to fudge out another, you're trying to get to 108. It's basically, if it breaks through the other side, then it's on its way to say 109. Okay, so what are we looking at here? 107, 107.80, get long, whatever, and you're shooting for 109, 111, 113 kind of thing. Here's 112. All right, that's what we're trying to do. What's this? 109. Yeah, reverses 109. So you pick up 100 pips on the upside. Japanese yen, I'm looking for a reversal to go higher. Equities come off. And the carry trade, Mexican peso, just like the pound. I think we got a winner here, folks. This is pretty strong on the ADX, telling me that this strong trend is nearing the end. Here is how I'm leaning. And that doesn't mean it can't, just get narrow and then whip down here. It's a huge deal. Just whip the bottom. So save powder. Greed is good, but you have to have it. What did I ding about? Crude oil at or above. No. So crude oil's pokey higher. That's probably why the Canadian dollar is too. Go back real quick. Canadian dollar. Maybe I'd want to short. So if this is going higher, the US CAD is going down. It's kind of like, do I want to short up in here? This is, it's breaking out to, you have a higher low right now. Probably up in here. 77.60 area. We shall see. 62.50. It's an oddball number. Crude oil or Canadian dollar, and we looked at that. Mexican peso, we looked at that. Kiwi the other way. Ooh, that's like one of those little spinning top things. Short the kiwi. Where's my little kiwi over here? Wisdom is taking one's own advice. I'll put some of you underneath there. Take that. All right, so I'm looking here for kind of a toppy action. The unbalanced or the money flow is in there. So I'd like to go against the Kiwi and have it come down to 60 or 71.70, and where we're at here. So it's 7,700 bucks. It gets down to here. That's what I'd like to see. And I'm trying to find the world famous TOP. You know, what do I call a reversal? Where are we at? What's going on? Possible head and shoulders here. And I want an alarm down here if it falls through. What else do we have going on in that chart? What do we see? We see the possibility of the retest of the broken trend line. Whoops, don't want to do that at all. All right, see how this is planned out here? Just you have your basic trend line here for those two other mushy areas right here, right here, right here. This is a retest the broken trend line. You can also, oops, don't want to do that again either. You know, you can have something sloppy like that too. But you understand, okay. And then what are we doing with RSI and stochastics? This is a tick chart though. There's not much, if you know Kiwi, it's ticks. That's kind of nice here. Dinged here, follow it all the way up, out, down, let's follow it all the way up. So we want an alarm right down in here too, don't we? Now we'll do right here. It's a good one. It's a little close, Kev. Yeah, well, what am I going to do after I'm done with these charts here, huh? Think about that. Yeah, and then up here. It breaks through the upside. And then we're like, okay, look for a shorting area. You know, we're looking for divergence. All right, that was the Kiwi. Crude oil, now we're back the other way. Have to set an alarm underneath this bottom. Fat bottom, Brent and crude. All right, bodies are getting in here again. Where are we at? Here's pivot. So it's basically at pivot. And then here'd be the other one. Here's your ADX. So it could be triggered higher. Money flow and RSI. So what do I want? I want somewhere up in here. Then reevaluate about whacking oil up here. I have one there already? No. All right, so what I got going on here, this is your little trend line here with the oil, right? We're coming up to another area. All right, so what happens if this is like a bear flag? You have your little ascending triangle type deal here, right? Draw a line across there, ascending triangle. I guess we could use all this pattern. All right, so you have a trend line here and a trend line, you know, however you want to work it. Here's your horizontal. Oil's going to have to clear this mushy area to get it going again, okay? Now on the backside, if it loses here, then we're docking, now we're back down to this deal. That's what we're looking for. ADX is set, so however this works out here, because it's going to get narrow if it stalls here and here's the low, it's going to get narrower and narrower. Here are your pivots. Needs to stay above that one, 53. All right, so cotton, you fell in here, huh? You are the winner. Oops. All right. Blue lines on cotton. I'm looking for like a reversal here on cotton. All right, dollar, like I talked earlier, right here, that's where we're at. If we crack through here, bonds are going to shoot up something fierce, and then gold will actually reverse here. S&Ps were at the high of the day. Rock and roll ski. There we are. We overshot this one here. We got to 90. Oh boy. There's my volume bars. I'm looking for everyone to be just so tickled pink. So we have a breakout. All right, next level is 2302, 2303, 2315. There you go, Kev. That works. 92. 98. Lots of volume. Cool. Where did you go? Holy bonkers, bad man. Oh. Okay, moving on. No, you're not. You can't leave it alone. All right, so here we are. 30 minutes should be good. Yeah, so I need an alarm under here for coming back from lunch, leaving the people. Yeah, I talk about leaving Europe at the highs. Kind of the same thing here. And below works. You know, leaving. We have another hour to go. You're at the high. All right, and then moving on. Here's our friend gold. Gold's on the defensive here, but what's this down here? We talked about 85, 86, we're in the 90s. So we're looking for a reversal on here. Alarms for the reversal. 1206 is too little. I need it back over 12, basically, I think. And it works $3 off. So here's the support level, and here's another one. Oh, do you buy gold there? 85. ADX is running double top, and it did crack through here. Here's the next level. Yeah, we're talking. So so we talked about that last week. Okay, about coming back down into I think it was as deep as like 70, 74 or something here. Yeah, an alarm here. All right, so we're looking for, that's 90. So I want to go to like 89. Do 10. All right, so that would be the crack of another losing 89. I'll say then we're crack 82. That's $700, and then 75 is $1,500, and then I'd probably scoop some off there, because walked into this, kind of get out of some of it, walked into it again, and the kids were getting all frothy with gold, poked through and came back, and it reversed. So I'll reevaluate here, but you have your trend line going on, right? Bounced off the back end. Well, let me show you that again. Yeah, Kev, information. Tell us what you see, buddy. All right, so you have your trend line, right? And basically hit the back side of the trend line and now rolled over. Now here's the deal. This could be an ABC pattern, okay, this way, right? And then it swings higher like the Dow did, the Dow futures. Remember I said ABC gets a little catapult thing and swings higher. That's why I go back to, say, like weekly bars and go, okay, now you're talking gold getting back to this area. What do you have going on? Well, you have you're kind of working something here. It could be a larger sideways, but if it loses this, then this is basically just a bounce. You lose down here, we're often running to, what was it, 880 and then 681. So the hope here, the whole deal is to get this thing back over 1217. It's below the happy place here. All right, so it would need to come through here. So we have GDP on Friday and things of that nature. So But for now, they're trying to hold this here, 95. But if it falters, this is it, and that's probably, I would lean maybe where are we at? Maybe GLD calls, that kind of thing, because we only have a couple of days to go. You know what I'm saying? Righto, Kevo. What do I have here? Options. GLD, right? And this is a GLD though, but it takes a second. So what am I looking for? 112, 113 calls would be less than that. Those are 112s. La 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 la. 114. La 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 la. Do 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 do. Well, I guess we could do a few things, couldn't we? Why don't you do it? It says options. I put you in GLD and I hit enter and it says no. And I'm like, what? I think you're kidding me, right? GLD. GLD. All right, here's a quick way of watching how this stuff goes too. Okay, we think it's going to go lower, right? So we want to buy or short the deeper in the money call, right? So here's this whole other thing with gambling too. I haven't a clue what I'm doing. Buy, sell, I don't know. Vertical, sure, whatever. So what's going on? So there's a credit of 30 cents, and it is a 50-cent spread. I'll take it. I don't know what it's going to do, but I get a credit of 30 cents, and there's a 50-cent spread. So what does that mean? I have 3/5 of it. I have 60%. So now how do I, what do I want to have happen? Run back into fill orders. How low do I want to buy it? How does it work? Whatever. But that's basically it when I look at options. If I got a credit for 30 cents, well, let me do it on here. Create an opposite order. Okay, debit. So now I'd have to pay to buy it back. So I want to do this as little as possible. How far do I want it to go? I don't know. So what am I looking at here? 114 call, 113 call. So this is on a bounce on this thing, right? So how about 8 cents? See what it does. That's all it is. It's a coin flip, right? Right or wrong, whatever. Coin flip. I'll have to change it to good till cancel, I think. All right, so I'm just moving on here. There's my charts. But that's, people ask all the time about, this, that, or the other thing. And I just say, if it's a 50-cent spread and you're getting, 60% of it, give it a shot. All it is I'm looking for it to go up this way, right? If this holds, right? I think that's what the plan was. Sell the in the money one sell the deep in the money and buy this one. So this is my insurance if it moves up. Okay. And I believe if it falls through, then it works. I think that's how it goes, right? On the gold, because in my eyes, right now, it's the sideways pattern on the gold. It lost it. Is it going to go higher? I'd be willing to buy it down here. That kind of thing. All right. Vertical weekly spread 13.5 and 14 GLD, right? So this is okay. So what I sold the calls, right? So yeah, so this is what I want to have happen. I want to buy it back down here. Okay. And then, it's one of those that it's, 14 and 13 kind of thing. There's going to be some decay if it bounces this way, right? Okay. Moving on. Euro dollars, ADX coming down sideways to up is how I look at Euro dollars. Copper, kind of pokey up here again. Money isn't money should be just frothy like this in here. Haven't looked at the commitment of traders for a while. Heating oil, I'll treat that as a bear flag for right now. Bear flag. Natty gas. Oh, goody. Okay, that's a good sign. Just a larger symmetrical triangle here. ADX is reset on here, so whatever this thing decides to do, if it cracks here or cracks here, the ADX should pick up and turn as a trend. The money's in there. This is RSI, it's holding 50, so maybe we have something here. This is your, I suppose, if you go back to it, this one works. This is a 2-day chart. Okay, so this one works right here. You get your money's worth on this one. The blue is basically, it came close. So this one, the little market sensor feeler things didn't sense us. When you look at the dollar, we looked at the dollar index, it basically laid right on it. So this one is working here. What are my numbers on this guy or gal? RSI, parabolic SARs, whatever it says on here. It was a default. 5 ATR period and factor of 3.5. I have some spare time on a desert island. Deserted. That's right. I'm also the copywriter to this shenanigans. All right, we're halfway back here. We're going to need to see some follow through, or we're just going to have another kind of like an inside week deal going on here. See, this is the money flow. So I'm a little apprehensive about this thing being, bear flag or bull flag. But it just draw your trend line. Look, it's pointing higher. Little red dots. Hold on, little red dots in the weekly. And ATR, though, on a weekly came close. That would be a buy there. So the next sell would be up at here at 445 before 450. I am not going to, I suppose, I can tell the planet I'm aiming for 450 and see how many of them get 446 or 447 and it comes back down. It came up, I was a penny short. Yeah, that happens, doesn't it? Think about that one a second. On 100 shares, that's $1. That would be your penny and pound foolish. Close. Yes, 100 lot, right? A penny cost a pound. $1 or 1 pound, right? Penny and pound foolish. All right, Natty Weekly looks, all my orbs. Let's bust it on down here. ADX is setting up here on a 2-hour chart. Money is, push. 340. So we're basically playing the old gap area again. 375. Contract rollover. That's right, Kevin. Thank you for pointing that out. Contract rollover in a couple of days. All right, lean. All right. Well, let's see. They got him out of it. Now they can swing it higher and get out of the contract, right? Yeah, all over the board. Pretty crazy stuff there. That contract rollover, huh? I don't know if this is going to be secondary distribution here. Here's the happy place for this data, 330, and that. Do I have a stopper down here? No. It also looks like a Fibonacci number, so 330. The number before was 325. For those of you that are holding on still on the long side on this contract, you do remember it's a rolling overtime here. NG, let's take a look on here. Information, Kevin's information. All right, so you have the options going on here. What do we have? April contract. So 2 days on the Feb. Volume 21,000. Open interest on here on options. 330, 325 on the calls on the put side. So I'd have to say, yeah, 330 is what they're aiming for here. These are the calls. Volume. Open interest. Oh, ooh, yikes. Owie. Bunch of 3.5s in there. Selling the options. So calls down here, 3.25. We have the puts, some puts here. Not a lot there, not a lot of any. Okay, so the unwind I'm looking for. Wow. So this is March 325. Vigilant. Be vigilant for March, I suppose. Right? It's there. 325 is what we're looking for March. And I believe if I do this correctly, there it is. Okay, here's April. All right, we're back in Natty since we have tomorrow and it's Thursday. Bonus video. Oh boy. All right, so this is April. I need to put one right here for the alarm. All right, so on April. All right. Money flow, bodies are in it. Okay, they did it before here, but this is where we're at. We're against the resistance level. So this is like short an April contract, all right, kind of thing. You know, for spreading, we're looking for it. Let's go back to March because that's going to be our rollover in a couple of days. So I have the orbs, and that's at the upper end too. All right, so March, it's above the happy place, 328. So 328 already went off. 329, 329 that'll work. It's the wrong way, but okay. All right, so here's our March. So it's narrowing. We get a wider range. Get rid of that. You know, here was our range from here to here to here to here to here. We're narrowing. We're symmetrical triangle. You know, it doesn't take much to be whipsawed. 43 to 14, so you know, 30 cent range here. You know, you go up 15 cents and poke through and then blast through the other end. That's what you have to be careful of. All right, so they need to get out of this one here. So they got in 350 calls and stuff. That's here. So that's our topper. Right here is our resistance, 349. We don't expect to see that. Where we're looking for here is where they're going to, if it comes back through here, 328. That's the thing. 328, 330. Reverses, it comes through for March, right? Doing the March now, yeah. All right, happy place is 25. That's it. Okay. This is your resistance, 75.80. Open interest, volume. Bought, sold, bought, pull back to here. All right, bulls. If you get something for EIA tomorrow, somewhere 326, 327, maybe go into it here. Let's take a look. Okay, if it hits 42, okay, that'd be a 10 cent or 12 cent drop. Maybe if you can get under, if you can get down, what I'm looking for is that it comes up to here and then comes down here, and maybe I'd want to buy in some here. Because they're trying to hold it basically between 325 and 350 for the options in that. It's kind of like where it failed to make this high, but that came down here. Wow, I guess that triggered some stops here. All right, so 350. So, okay. All right. Sideways. Bloody sideways. Happy place. Okay, so first we looked at this as a head and shoulders. If it negates it, it would be 49.50. People would have to chase after their options. 4-hour ADX is reset. So yeah, like I said before, wherever it crosses 336, we're at that now. That's pivot. Next area of resistance is under 350. Oh boy! We're going to get something, right? Below 325 again or above 350. Woohoo! Okay, moving on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, see, you can see how I can kind of lean that this would be a flag. Well, but, you know, for you, your main contract. Oh, yeah, these are all natty gas. Oh, higher highs. That looks a little better. Deferred, yeah. So they're running into the deferreds. The deferreds, you know, got close in that and filling the gaps. You know, got close. See, I just don't want this to be some sort of correction. Come down. You have to be. Now it's one of those things. You know, you get in here, it goes up, it comes down. You know, comes through, you move your stop up again. The angle of ascent would increase. And what did I say? 445. So if it takes off, you know, there's 408 and stuff, but now it's going to pump out or 446. You know, pump it all up. But, you know, if it reverses down here, then there's a possibility of it sliding. So, yep. It's just that simple, folks. It's just that simple. Banged off there, and you're at that retracement. So what's you up there? 363. So 30 cent higher. We're playing at 15 cent up and 15 cent down, right? Something to that degree. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh boy, loads of fun. EIA Thursday. Okay, going back to charts. All right, what am I missing? Natty gas. Moving on. NASDAQ still up there. Tiddle-diddle-dee. Where are we at? Lunchtime yet? Oh yeah, we're supposed to leave Europe at the highs. Okay, so this would go back with our QQQs. Q. 25 and a quarter. Where are we at? Quarter after. I don't have any Qs there. $4 and something. Sure, I'll buy some. All right, so I need to change this from low to volume. As you can see, I bought 400 of these. That's why it's the simulated trading account, right? So in my real world of what I'd have to deal with, I'd have to somehow manage this. Would I want these Mays? Would I blah, blah, blah? I don't care, right? The deal is that I had a plan and I implemented it. The next thing to do is not touch it. Don't touch it. You know, just leave it alone. You know, if you want to go and play something else, take off part of a loser. You know, at least you're cutting down your loser from lose. You know what I'm saying? Let your winners run. You know, I mean, if you come down to it's as soon as you see something going straight up and you want to sell it, you're doing it wrong. You know, but Kev, you just bought May puts and for what did I buy it at or whatever it says I bought it at. Blah blah blah. More information. Oh, what am I missing? Trade grid. No. Oh, I have to go hit it on my page. Okay, whatever. But yeah, those are purchased. You know, well, let's take a look at a chart on it too while we're at it. It's like close at least. What happens if we swing higher? Okay. Come on. Maximize. It's going to be nothing. 475. All right. So it's only a penny, right? What am I looking at here? shizzle on here. I have these lines that I'm shooting for. So whatever, buy some more here. That's not gonna work. All right, moving on. Yeah, okay, whatever. All right. Crude came off up in here. All right, let's take a look here. We're just whizzing through these. Here's the dollar, like I was telling you before, that ATR average trailing stop that worked for Netty Gas. Here's the dollar. I'd like to see it break lower, then gold will swing up. Oh, look, here we are. We're banging off. We're setting Europe at the high here. There's our gold. All right, so we're setting them up at the high. Netty Gas. Okay. NASDAQ futures. Sugar's coming off here a little bit here. Possible head and shoulders here. Silver. Russell. Yeah. I say we're going to leave them high here at the high of the day when we go to lunch. See how things pan out. Bonds blew through support. Dow, remember the ABC pattern from the video, swings higher. Next one was 2055 on Dow futures. EDX is reset. Whee! We'll line them up in here. 47 sounds like a winner. Bonds. Corn, bugger. Fives. Oil looks like it's coming down this way. Meal. Notes. What happened to you? Oh, you're doing that, huh? We'll buy you. You're bought. 123, 20, under 124. You're bought. Does it take it? Nope. It's because I have too much other stuff on. Beans. Buggers. That works. You're not gonna lose that, would you? Twos. Wheat. What are we doing? 25. Oh. 32 3/4 on the upside for wheat. You'll put a. All right. Canadian dollar, British pound. British pound, yeah. Buy the dip on the pound. I really want to sell a rally on the CAD, but I'll pass. Euro, found support on the pivot. Yen, pivot for tomorrow. Monkey bar, or Mexican peso. Wow, it's time for lunch or breakfast. Oh, look, you came back down. Cool, right? Banged on the outside of the bar. Oh, yeah, you came down a whopping 10 ticks. Congratulations, Kev. $100, whatever. Crude, All right, one ascending triangle. See how it pans out. Coming through here. Oh, things just kind of stalled, didn't they? Cotton, dollar, we've gone full circle. Gold again. Euros. I wish I could buy you, right? I should take all that crap off. Yeah. All right, I'll post this one. Ooh, look at that copper. I'll poke you up here and losing it. Oh, copper. Heat and oil. Looks like a bear flag. Natty gas again. Qs. Let's see, Qs again. What's this here? 23. And we have 25 puts, that kind of thing. What did I just do today for filled orders? Symbol. So VIX calls. Just bought some calls. BC. Qs. NVIDIA went against the herd, I think there. Just Qs. 125 puts. Just bought the stuff. I just splash it on there, watch it, remember it. Oh yeah, I remember doing that. Go back and talk about it. Well, new people come in every day. I have to kind of tell them where I'm at on this here. All right, leave it at that, right? Right. Yeah, leaving them at the highs here. Let's go to lunch. All right. Beach ball, beach ball. Looking over the charts real quickly here. Because of the earnings thing, maximize sell. And I'll follow a parto. What? 4 hour, 2 days. There we go. Bain Corp. Take that, you little buggers. There's one. Steel Dynamics landed right on. That one was landed right on the old whatchamacallit there, the trail and stop there. So if you are short, I'd write puts if they have it, kind of thing. That one fell apart. Vivo, Bioscience. Vivo. That's, ooh, this one's could be a reversal here right off CVLT. No, that one could fall down another $4, another 8% or something. ADX is picking up here too. CVLT. Did I talk about that one yesterday? SE. That one's a sharp reversal. Globus Maritime. I'm going to have to say this is shipping. It's a buying weakness on this one. How do I do this here? I'll play it on this side, play it on that side for now. Even though you have no clue if this is even a decent company, that's a gap. What are we talking here? 829, 716. All right, what we'll do is we'll splash some on. We'll splash some on down here. 54. I'll do 53 or 54. About 53. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm buying some. They're shippers. I want them, even though the wanting part was down here 2 and change. I don't know anything about this company. That's why I love futures so much, because I know what gold is. I know what cash is. Globus, Maritime, G-Pounds, $8.22 off of down a quarter or whatever. But I'm trying to fill the gap there. That one came back. Ooh, scary. 236. Okay. That one's scary. Runner, 40 cents. Chicks, CIX. ChineseInvestors.com. Sideways. Ooh, wow. Yeah. Ouch. Otex. Holy buckets. Did I talk about that one yesterday? These earnings? Why am I a newsletter writer? Because you have fun, Kev. That's what you love to do, the hunt. You hire other people to scoop this up. You don't have time to scoop it up. You're too busy driving the ship to make sure that there are hospital corners in the staterooms. There you have it. I'm going to let you go get some nourishment. We're probably going to leave the market at the highs in Europe, and then I'll come back later. I suppose I should start doing some live stuff again. Yeah, I'll think about it. Toodles.